An AEW star has been removed from the roster. Plus, we're going to talk about why Pat McAfee was not on WWE Raw and another change of plans for WWE. It's all coming up right here on The Ango Show.
Yes.
Welcome back to TAS. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to kick things off with Ludwig Kaiser. This is a very interesting situation that's going on because WWE is now calling an audible for next week's WWE Raw. Ludwig Kaiser reportedly got injured during his match yesterday. And look, this is crazy. WWE, like, literally having to change plans on the fly because of an injury. More injuries in wrestling, definitely not something we want to see. But WrestleVotes had came out and said that he heard during WWE Raw that there was an injury. And then obviously nobody really knew what was going on. WrestleVotes also said prior to the injury, Ludwig Kaiser was to compete in the Money in the Bank qualifier next week versus Sheamus and Drew McIntyre. As shown on WWE Raw, Ilya Dragunov will be in the spot, and that did happen on WWE Raw, where they revealed next week's Money in the Bank match, Money in the Bank qualifier match. And obviously with Ludwig Kaiser getting hurt during his match last night, and for WWE to call an audible, I think that pretty much guarantees, unless WWE has a different mindset here, Ilya Dragunov, if he does qualify for Money in the Bank, will not be winning Money in the Bank. Obviously, they can call an audible again and change plans because that's what you have to do on the fly. But, you know, obviously when somebody's not meant to be in a certain match and then they get thrown into the match, it is very rare that you see them end up winning the entire thing. Obviously, with Ludwig Kaiser, I've become a very big fan of his work. I absolutely love what he's doing. I said this on my live post show on Monday night that Ludwig Kaiser going singles route without necessarily being disconnected from Gunther, it's actually a really good thing. It's a good example of how you don't have to split up a tag team or a faction to allow talent to work as singles guys. Obviously, Ludwig has a lot of potential as a singles guy. Hopefully, this injury isn't anything extreme. Hopefully, this isn't anything serious. You know, Ludwig is somebody who I think WWE has been putting a lot of spotlight on recently. And I think when you're doing something like that and you're putting spotlight on somebody like that, the good thing that comes from it is that we know with the WWE booking, long-term booking, it is being done on purpose. And who knows what their future plan is and who knows how much this injury could impact it. But it is very clear if you watch the product that Ludwig is a big part of those plans. So that is something that we have to discuss. It is something that we have to mention. Obviously, I'll keep you guys updated along the way. Pat McAfee yesterday on WWE Raw was not there. He was not there. He was not present. And it was interesting because Michael Cole did say in the beginning of the night, hey, we probably shouldn't read too much into this. And obviously that statement was being made because the Wyatt Six kept interrupting the Pat McAfee show. And now it kind of became a weird scenario, right? If you were watching WWE Raw, the Wyatt Six did their thing, but there was no mention of Pat McAfee. They didn't abduct Pat McAfee. They didn't, there wasn't a video package of them going after Pat McAfee or anything like that. Instead, it was a therapy session between Bo Dallas and Uncle Howdy, which, by the way, I really loved that segment, and I talked about that on my Monday Night Live review. But yeah, like, let's just get it out there that PW Torch has reported that Pat McAfee was not on WWE Raw due to a very last minute serious emergency. So there was something in his personal life or something that had happened that caused Pat McAfee to not be there, and WWE on the swing had to kind of just change things up, and they had The Miz step in for a good hour. And look, I just want to give credit where it's due. Honestly, I did not look. I know The Miz is great on the microphone. I did not expect him to be that great on commentary. And I saw somebody tweet it out, and I don't know who tweeted it. I can't remember, but somebody tweeted it out that maybe The Miz should pursue commentary after his career is done, just like JBL did. And you know what? Honestly, I think that is a phenomenal idea. I thought The Miz was really good. But then I also have to give flowers to Michael Cole because of this. He did commentary by himself for the last 2 hours of the show. And this guy is the ultimate professional. Michael Cole is literally one of my favorite commentators of all time. He is actually my favorite commentator of all time. And I've said this before on the channel before, but you know, without Vince McMahon in his ear, Michael Cole comes across so much more likable, so much more fun, so much more like energetic and entertaining. And he really pieces the stories together well. He sells the angles well. When he's genuinely excited on commentary, it makes me genuinely excited on commentary, or to hear him on commentary, I should say. And yeah, like, look, let's just call it what it is. Pat McAfee had something happen in the real world, in the real life, that has nothing to do with this. We don't know what it is. We're not going to speculate on it, but it was obviously serious enough for him to be pulled from WWE Raw last minute. This doesn't sound like any sort of drama. This doesn't sound like anything weird. I know some people were trying to push this narrative on social media that Pat McAfee was being released or something like that, and that doesn't appear to be the case. So whatever it may be for Pat McAfee that caused him to miss Raw, hopefully all is well. Hopefully all is good. And I'm sure there will be some sort of explanation on the Pat McAfee show if he is there, in fact, live on ESPN. But again, as always, I'll keep you guys updated. AEW has removed Satnam Singh from the roster. At least on the AEW website, his profile is no longer listed as a professional wrestler. They actually included a new rendering of him being in a suit. And if you go to the AEW website, he is not part of the men's roster, but it looks like he has been added to the broadcast team. And I am saying this because if you watch my videos from like when he debuted, this guy is huge. And he was a Dallas Maverick. And I get it. He didn't have like this incredible NBA career, but he played in the NBA. He's a giant. He comes to AEW. Definitely green. I can acknowledge all of these things. I'm not saying Satnam Singh is a game changer. But what I am saying is that Satnam Singh could have been used as an attraction. And AEW did not do that. And for whatever reason, I'm sure they have their reasons. Maybe they felt like his development wasn't always there. I don't know. But they tried to make him a big deal in the beginning and then didn't really become anything in AEW. So for them to make this decision, we don't know why. But it is interesting that they've decided to move him to the broadcast portion of the company. And who knows what that may be. I know some people are speculating that AEW is looking at, you know, an expansion into India and, you know, getting more popular there. As far as that stuff goes, man, I think Satnam Singh should be wrestling because I think having a giant in wrestling is cool. It's not very often that you see them. It's also probably the same reason why I like Omos and the Big Show, right? Like some of these bigger guys that you don't very see often, especially in AEW where a lot of the guys are smaller. It's not a bad thing, you know? So I felt like they could have probably tried to make him an attraction act, but they didn't. Not really sure why they removed him from the roster and why he's moving to broadcast. What will he do? I don't know, but we will see. Ladies and gentlemen, that is the Ango Show.